Hi everybody, this is Pam with Jesusjunkjournals, and I am back today, and I'm going to do a little bit more work on the backs of these pages. I went and reprinted the one that I messed up the other day, so here's this one, and it's blank. So I'm going to demonstrate decoupage in case there's anybody who hasn't ever done it. So you take your napkin, and napkins come in usually two layers or 3 layers, and I'm just going to use masking tape, but you can use Scotch tape or washi tape or whatever kind of tape you have, and you just stick it to your napkin and pull it, and it'll take that layer of back paper off. Now this one I can tell is very thin. It only has 1 layer left, but some of them have 2 layers, and if you're not sure, it's a good idea to take a little piece of tape and test it on the edge, because you don't want to have 2 layers of paper. It just does not look good at all if you don't get all the back paper off. So then you're left with your napkin. So I'm going to take a paintbrush, just a little one, and I've got some water here, and I am just going to wet my paintbrush, and then you just go around it with water, and it will tear out just the piece that you want. So I've gone all the way around that, and then gently you just pull it, and it just tears out very easily wherever the water is, and it gives you a nice frayed edge, which looks a lot nicer than a cut edge. I'll go ahead and do it on this blank sheet here. So then you want your Mod Podge, or whatever you want to call it. I make my own Mod Podge, but you can buy it at the store. It is 2 parts white glue and 1 part water. That's all it is, and it's a lot cheaper to make your own, but you can buy it if you want to. Now I have a brush I let the Mod Podge dry on my Mod Podge brush. This brush is only used for Mod Podge, so it sits in all kinds of weird shapes and dries. But you can wake it back up. So don't worry if you get your Mod Podge on your brush and it dries, don't think it's ruined and throw it away, because it just wakes up with water. So I'm going to take some of that excess water out of it. I'm going to dip it in my Mod Podge and swish it around here. You don't have to get it all over the whole place you're going to put it necessarily. Then I'm going to lay my little tissue paper on here, and then I'm going to start in the middle and brush out in rays from the center. Get some more. You don't want it to get too wet, but don't get too worried. Just, it's not that hard. So brush it out from the center, and I always get in a hurry and it ends up getting torn. So if you take your time, it'll come out better for you. And then as you do it, it will get wrinkles. It just will. So you just make sure they're flattened out as best you can. And that's it. And then you let it dry, and that's your Mod Podge. I mean, that's your decoupage. So that one you can't really see because there's nothing else on the page. So let me get one of my sheets here. I'll get one of these where I did the jelly plate printing. And let me get another piece of that same, well actually here's a piece. I have a piece of this napkin that's got some, whoops, purple on it. So I'm going to tear a little piece of this flower out here. You've got to get water on it or it's not going to tear. And I keep a folder, just a regular like file folder, and I put my extra napkins in it. I don't like these straight edges, so I'm going to go ahead and just kind of tear it just so it's not straight. And across the bottom, same thing, just to give it an irregular shape. And then, now let me tell you this, napkins they don't look very good on anything but a white background or a light background. The darker the background, the less it will show up. So this has actually a lot of color to it. So I was going to put it on here because it's purple, but as you can see, the only way it looks purple is if I put it over the white. So I think I'm gonna, might be able to get away with it there. I'm going to do this just for the sake of demonstration, but what I wanted to show you is how it lets the edges disappear and it lets the background come through. So I'm going to put that on there, and I just put enough behind it to kind of tack it down, and then I go over it from the top because these are so porous that the glue just goes right through them and goes to the back and glues it down. So you can also use tissue paper. Let's see if I can get that to tear. Oh, doesn't want to. There. I could have just done that later, but okay. And so, well, it's not really showing you what I want to show you. Let's see. All right, well, I'll leave that on there. Well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm going to take one of these ones that is almost white, and I'm going to take a stamp. So let me stamp something on here. Okay, I'm going to use archival ink because it's waterproof. Hopefully it dries really quick. And so let's say I'm going to use this stamp that says, God is my strength. Okay, so I'm going to put it on my little block here and stamp this on here. And I'm going to put it over here too, just because they'll be on two sides of the journal, so it'll be okay if I have two of the same stamp, I think. So now, giving it a second to dry. So here's my little folder I was telling you about of my used napkins. And I just throw them in here just to kind of keep some sort of order to them. So let me see, what do I have? So I'm going to take my little paintbrush and just kind of go around him a little bit. He's got a little tree branch over there. Let me get this edge so I don't have a straight edge. Okay, so now I just kind of wanted to show you, if I lay that over that, you don't really see my stamp, but when you use your Mod Podge, and this is just so you get the idea of how this works. Again, be sure you use the waterproof ink if you do this. You can see how the stamp becomes more visible with this. It kind of melts the background away. And the colors come through from the background, the stamp shows up, and looks like I actually, like I could have even stamped it on top of it. So that is what decoupage does for something. So let me go ahead and do another one. I'll do this bird and see how that looks. This one has a green background, so I don't know how much that's going to let it show through, but we'll find out. Don't really want the copyright on there either, so just for fun, I'm going to put it over that and we'll see how much of it shows. Actually, it needs to be like this. Okay, so I'll do that just for the sake of demonstration. All right. So you can read it even though it has a pretty good color background. It's still letting the stamp come through. And where another place that looks really cool to decoupage is over type or over a hem. So let me show you that. Okay, so I'm going to decoupage. I'll use this. This is a little intense and I don't like it very well, so I'm not worried about covering it up. So I'm going to decoupage with just regular paper. Now when you do that, it's a little harder because it isn't as porous as a napkins. So I'm going to put some here on the back of this and get a good amount, get all the edges with some of that. And I'll just go ahead and put it there. And then I'm going to go over it with the decoupage. What that does is seals this so that no kind of paint will absorb to it and no water or anything will go through it. Okay, so now that you could let dry, but what I want to show you, and actually let me do a little piece of this music too while I'm at it. So I'm going to put some on the back of this. And stick it down up over here. And then the same thing, I'll smash it down really well with my paintbrush, make sure all the edges are down and it's glued all the way around really well. Okay, so now I'm going to take a piece of napkin. Okay, sorry, forgot to turn my other light on too. Okay, I'm going to just use this little piece here, and I want to tear this logo off of here. I don't really want him on there. So tear that edge off, and I'm okay with this because this will get cut off here. So I'm going to decoupage these birds over the top of this, and you'll see what I'm saying about, see how it just shows the music underneath it really well. The background just kind of melts away and lets that come through. And so then I'll show you on this over here. Let's see, I've got a little hummingbird here I'll put on it. And get the edge off and the logo. Put some more glue here. And yeah, got him backwards. There we go. If you get it wrong, these are pretty strong to pick. You can pick them back up if you're careful and reposition them. Kind of weird because they seem so delicate, but you can reposition if you need to. So again, see how that newspaper print comes through the background, and I think it looks really cool. So there is decoupage, and I'm going to go ahead and maybe do a little bit more. Okay, I almost forgot. I've got Tim Holtz tissue paper rolls that I always forget I have. And these are fun to decoupage on. And you just tear off pieces of it. There's a repeat, like that far, like 18 inches, it repeats the design. But they're fun to add to things. And especially when you've done like the gel plate printing, I feel like I need something not so abstract. So I'll do some of that. And he has ones with the bugs on them, which I love. And then he has colored ones with roses on them. So this big moth kind of needs his own space there. I'll go ahead and take him out. And you can get these on like Amazon, or I got mine at Hobby Lobby. I don't know if they still carry them. They've been a while. It's been a while since he's put those out. The other thing is regular tissue paper. This was gift wrap tissue paper. And here's a piece that's regular tissue paper. This has kind of a coating on it that makes it shiny. This looks like it's more absorbent, I have a feeling. But when you use tissue paper, you just want to be sure that you put plenty of glue underneath it, because it doesn't soak through tissue paper like it does a napkin. So be sure you have it underneath. And then you want to go over it on top and smash it out. And if you find out you didn't get it underneath, just lift it up and put it on there. Get all the wrinkles pushed out. Let's see. That's pretty bold. I might just take a smaller piece of that. This is a good way too, if you've, like, I'm going to cut the margins off of this paper in a minute, but my jelly plate printing doesn't go all the way to the edge a lot of times, and so you can kind of just disguise that with decoupage and things like that. Let's see, I guess I could put this at the bottom. I always have to remind myself to put more on with the tissue paper. Have to be a little more careful. So like I said, just if you get it folded up, it will unfold. It's pretty forgiving. Like so. And there's the, what I was telling you about how the colors come through. The colors are coming through the white areas of that. So that looks kind of cool. I think that's enough for that sheet. I'm just gonna put that on randomly. Oops. So when you use the jelly plate printing, it's acrylic paint. I mean, that's what I use, is acrylic paint. And so it's basically making it waterproof. So nothing's going to soak through to the back once you've got that paint on there. So you don't have to be as careful. And of course, if you don't like doing it this way, you can always go page by page if you want to be a little more careful about what you're putting on your pages than I am. That is perfectly fine. I just like to get some stuff on here. And then when I do put it into a journal, if I don't like it, I just cover it up with something else. So, but this way, you can do everything at one time, like all the decoupaging at one time, and all of the stamping at one time, and all that. Kind of get it out of the way. Make sure you've got some in there, because it adds variety to your journal. Let's see. Put Mr. Moth right there. I'm going to tear this off. So I'm super excited. I'm working on the next journal thing, as I've mentioned, I think before, that it's going to be the whole Bible, and I'm getting pretty close to the finish of it, plus a deck of cards with the books of the Bible. It's going to be an accordion style journal, or that's what I'm going to do with it. You can do whatever you want with them, but I'm getting pretty excited about that. So stay tuned for that. Just got some air pockets. Okay, I pulled out a few more things. I've got this really pretty hummingbird napkin, so I'm going to use him on here. And I'm moving this away from the corner because a lot of these pages have corner pockets. They're going to have corner pockets. So I'm going to waste it. If I have a corner pocket, it's going to get hidden. So I'm going to move it over just slightly and hope that it shows, because it is pretty. I like it, and it goes really well with the colors of this background, I think. So I hope I get to have it show. I hope everybody's having a fun time after Thanksgiving and getting your Christmas shopping done and seeing all the family and all the great things about this time of the year. We live away from most of our family, so we ended up with just, actually just my husband and I had Thanksgiving this time. We usually go up to Kansas City, but we didn't this year. And I fixed turkey and the whole thing, and it all turned out great. And actually it was kind of nice because there wasn't any pressure since there was no company. So everything came out perfectly, pretty much. Other than my turkey, it has the built-in pop-up thermometer thing. And I was waiting. Everything was ready. I had it in the oven staying warm, and the turkey was supposed to be done, and then it wouldn't pop up. And it wouldn't pop up, and it wouldn't pop up. And finally, I got the meat thermometer out and poked it, and when I kind of jostled the turkey, the pop thing popped out. So it was stuck. So I don't know. I'm glad I finally did that, because I don't know how long I would have sat there waiting for that thing to pop up. But yeah, so I hope I remember that next time, that make sure that pop-up thing is not stuck. Okay. All right, so there's that little page. And let's see, what can we do on this page? I've got some pattern here I'm just going to put on. Just, again, to kind of counterbalance the abstract nature of the print that I did. It's kind of nice to have something recognizable on there. And then on this side, I've got these little leftover flowers from a napkin, and I'm just going to go ahead and layer those on there, I think. This is kind of a big piece. I don't usually put that big of a piece on. It's a little hard to control. Although I shouldn't say that. Have you seen the decoupaging going on out on YouTube? People are doing furniture and, you know, decoupaging whole dressers and tables, and here I am saying this is big, but if you don't do it all the time, it is big. Just keep pushing it, get all the little air bubbles and wrinkles smoothed out. Try not to get impatient. Talking to myself. So I hope you guys, if you're on the Facebook group, we're going to do the Bible recap program starting in January. So if you haven't gone out there, it's called Jesusjunkjournals Creators. That's the group, Jesusjunkjournal Creators. And if you want to come on there, I'm just going to put reminders out every day of what the reading is, and we're going to all read, well, not all of us, but whoever wants to read the Bible to next year together, come on there, and please comment if you do it, because if you comment, the posts go to more people. Facebook has an algorithm that only allows a post to go out to really like maybe 100 people, and then if people start to comment, then it gets pushed out to several hundred people, and that way everybody hears about it and sees it. So it's always good to comment on people's things in Facebook. But anyway, if you want to do that, it's Tara Lee Cobble. She did Lenora, who is the administrator in my group. She did it for us last year, and we're going to do it again. I'm going to do it this time, and we are going to get the Bible read together. So go check it out if you want to. Okay, that one's done. I think I'm going to stop with the decoupage. That's enough. And then I'll let these dry, and I'll come back and do something else on the next one. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.